Hello friends, welcome back to our channel. On November 6, 2003, someone entered into Superbike Motorsports in the little hamlet of Chesnee, South Carolina, and shot the owner, his mother, and 2 employees in the head. The crime was dubbed the Superbike Murders, and it appeared to be as mindless as it was cold-blooded. There was nothing taken. A cash envelope was left out in the open. The shop had been a success, even winning a Suzuki award that year. Scott Ponder, 30, his mother, Beverly Guy, 52, shop mechanic Chris Sherbert, 26, and Ponder's close friend and service manager Brian Lucas, 30, were all killed. Police investigated clues and followed various theories, one of which added to the tragedy of the killing by incorrectly placing suspicion on Scott Ponder's wife. However, all of the leads eventually led to a dead end. It appeared that the Superbike murders would never be solved. Understanding the horror of the killings involves going back to January 2001, when Scott Ponder, a passionate motorbike enthusiast, started Superbike Motorsports in his hometown of South Carolina. Brian, Scott's best buddy who shared his love of all things two-wheeled, joined Scott at SBKMS as the shop's service manager. Scott's mother enjoyed spending time at the dealership, doing errands for them, and generally spending time with her son. Chris was the shop's newest employee and had only been working there for a short period. Scott had a successful company, was surrounded by caring friends and family, and was happily married to the woman he adored, whom he met at a motorbike exhibition. Melissa, Scott's wife, was expecting their first child, a child Scott would never meet. SBKMS had become something of a center for local bike aficionados, so when a friend of SBKMS, Noel Lee, called the shop on a Thursday morning to ask if he might drop by and hang out for a while, it was business as usual. When Noel arrived to the dealership less than 10 minutes later, he found himself in the middle of a disturbing scenario. Scott and Brian were found in a pool of blood in the dealership's parking lot near the building's entrance. Noel originally mistook the two for pranksters, asking them to get up and prodding Brian with his foot before realizing the scenario was far from fun. When Noel entered the dealership to call 911, he discovered 2 more bodies. Chris was slumped over a bike he appeared to be working on, while Beverly was on the floor near the bathroom. Police arrived on the scene within minutes. Investigators began following up on leads. A guy and a woman were seen near the dealership just before and after the murders. Both had a history of drug usage and a questionable reputation. But if the crime was perpetrated by 2 addicts hunting for money, why did they leave the cash behind and not take anything? The lead vanished as swiftly as it appeared. Detectives investigated the victims' lifestyles to determine why someone might want to kill them. Brian, Scott, and Beverly didn't appear to have any bad blood with one another or with anyone else. Small-town rumors circulated regarding Chris's ties to the drug trade, but after thoroughly checking those claims, authorities discovered nothing. Melissa, Scott's wife, was not an exception. Police always investigate a victim's spouse. She was summoned to the station several times in the months following the killings, including after the birth of her son, Scott Jr., or Scotty. Melissa changed her baby's diaper at the police station, which was then taken by police and transported to a lab to test DNA, unbeknownst to Melissa. At the crime scene, DNA samples were collected from the 4 victims. After comparing the diaper sample to the samples gathered at SBKMS, detectives discovered that Brian, not Scott, was the baby's father. When they confronted Melissa with this information, she strongly denied that anyone other than Scott could be the father. She asked for the test to be repeated. A second test revealed the same results. Melissa was presented with the results of the second test. At that moment, she chose to quit speaking to police without a lawyer, which increased the detective's suspicions even further. After around 18 months, the veil of suspicion surrounding Melissa remained. Friends and family of the victims were at a loss for words. Beverly's DNA was tested against her son's at some point, and there was no match. After investigating what had occurred, authorities discovered that Scott's and Brian's DNA samples had been mixed up because they were discovered near to each other at the crime scene. Melissa's youngster was, in fact, the son of Scott. Melissa hadn't done anything wrong. Unfortunately, Scott's grandma never heard of the mistake and died unaware of her great-grandson's true identity. A client who was at the shop minutes before the shooting was interviewed by police as the last person to see the 4 victims alive. This witness reported to the sheriff's department seeing a man in the dealership. He remembered how the unknown man in the shop had inquired about a motorcycle and spoke as if he knew nothing about motorcycles, so much so that the customer found the guy's behavior particularly off-putting. The Superbike murders had remained unsolved until then. A peculiar series of events involving 4 missing people, Facebook posts, and a serial killer would lead to the arrest of a man on murder and false imprisonment charges 13 years later. Following several lengthy interrogations, the accused admitted to being a serial killer and confessed to earlier crimes. Kohlhepp was interrogated extensively after his arrest. Kohlhepp confessed to the 2003 Superbike murders during one of these interrogations. He claimed he tried to return a bike and was rebuffed. Finally, he alleged he was mocked, and Kohlhepp took revenge. So he took his gun and shot everyone in the shop, and after that, he left as soon as possible. There are no additional witnesses who can tell us what happened that day. Even though the Superbike murders have been solved, little has changed. Parents had to bury their children, and children had to say goodbye to their fathers. True friends who had committed their lives to the business and serviced countless customers across the Southeast were lost to the motorbike community. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video about the Superbike murders mystery. If you have any thoughts or theories about the mysteries discussed in this video, please share them in the comments below. And if you know of any other unsolved mysteries that you think I should cover, please let me know.